Hello, boys and girls. My name is Arthur, and we are going to solve this wonderful problem, which I got from one of my students here. So, a rectangular sheet of paper with sides 1 and square root 2 has been folded once as shown, so that one corner just meets the opposite along edge. What is the value of D? So let us reconstruct this rectangular sheet as it was at the very beginning. So let us call this point B. So let it be A, also C and D. So we have rectangular ABCD with sides square root 2 and 1. As we know, the lengths of the opposite sides of the rectangles are equal. So BC will be also square root 2, and please pay attention to this move. So when we're folding, our side BC becomes here. So you see this BC will be here. So it is exactly the same BC as it was in the very beginning. So I will now erase this one. So why we have done this? Because we can conclude that BC was and is square root 2. So this BC also square root 2. So now our first task is to find the value of D. In order to do this, we will use triangle BCD. So it will be Pythagoras theorem, which helps us to solve this equation, so to find the length of the side BD. So BD squared plus CD squared will be equals BC squared. Instead of BC, we will write square root D squared. Instead of CD, we will write 1, and instead of BD, yes, we will leave it as it is. So BD is unknown. So BD squared is 2 minus 1. So BD squared is 1, and BD is plus minus 1, but the length of the side of the triangle cannot be negative, so we just write positive 1. So positive 1 is the length of BD. So now we know the length of BD, and we know the length of AD also, because AB, pardon. So AB would be equals, so AD minus BD. So AD, according to the data given, is square root 2. BD, we just calculated it is 1. So AB is square root 2 minus 1. So now we know the length of AB. So let us consider this little triangle now. So I will change the color to the red. So we will consider this triangle. So we know that the length of AB is square root 2 minus 1. We know that D is D, for example, and we know that the rest of this side is 1 minus D. So that will help us to do the quadratic equation. So we can write it as follows. Square root 2 minus 1, this is the side of AB, squared, plus D squared equals to 1 minus D also squared. So it will be square root 2 minus 2 times square root 2 times 1 plus 1. So we use the formula sum and difference, square of the difference. I will just remind if you forget. So a minus b squared equals a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So that allowed me to write in one action like this, and plus d squared equals to 1, the same formula, minus 2, 1d, just 2d, and plus d squared, and that's it. So we can eliminate this d squares. So the final answer will be, so what we have here is root 2 minus 2 root 2 plus 1 minus 1 equals negative 2d. So what we have here is, so this is canceling each other out. So we can write like square root 2, 1 minus 2 over 2 equals negative d. So the final answer here will be this final answer, sorry, will be so square root 2, negative 1, 2, and this minus, we divided both sides by minus and f minus here. So the final answer is square root 2 over 2. So that is the answer. We found D. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please this like button and subscribe and hit the bell for notification. We will continue to present very interesting problems in different types of math. Thank you. Goodbye.